Hello and welcome back to my channel. So if you're shooting people, then the focus is always going to be on getting the skin tones right. So that means getting the exposure right and getting the colors of the skin right. Although a certain amount can be done in post, it's always best to get it done in camera while you're shooting. So the thing I love about Blackmagic is that they always give you multiple ways of doing the same thing. So in the case of Blackmagic cameras, there's typically 4 tools that you can use for getting exposure right while you're filming. So they are the histogram, the zebras, false color, and the RGB traffic lights. But you could say, strictly speaking, the RGB traffic lights are under the histogram tool. So what are these tools exactly? Well, join me after the break and let's find out. So the histogram is on the bottom left of the screen on the Blackmagic cameras and is a luminance histogram, not an RGB histogram. So that means that it shows the overall brightness of the image rather than the individual red, green and blue channels. The RGB clipping indicators, which I call the traffic lights, are basically 3 tiny lights to the right of the histogram which show the per channel clipping. So you have a red, green or blue lights will illuminate if their respective channel is clipping. So with the Blackmagic cameras, false color is an exposure assistance tool used to visualize brightness levels in an image by mapping out the different exposure values to specific colors, rather than displaying them as natural tones. So each brightness level, IRE level, is assigned a specific color and these colors are overlaid on the image. So for example, green indicates proper skin tone exposure and that's basically 40 to 50 IRE. And also the red highlights are used to show overexposure near clipping. So that's around 100 IRE or above. And blue shows underexposure. So shadow areas, yellow or orange might also show areas that are approaching overexposure but are not quite overexposed as yet. So that would be 70 to 90 IRE. And the final tool that we have within the Blackmagic arsenal of exposure tools is zebras. Now the zebras, typically you can set the threshold at which they are activated to give you an idea of how bright the portions of your image are. And typically you can set it from 75% up to 100% in different graduations. But what Blackmagic have made available in the PYXIS 12K and 6K is the ability to set a skin tone indicator. So with that, you can set a specific range for middle gray and also for middle gray +1. So middle gray +1 would be 1 stop above middle gray. So middle gray would represent the average skin tone and middle gray +1 would be lighter skin tones. Well, the first thing you need to do is to activate the zebras, and there are a couple of ways of doing that. You can either do that from the main screen, from the home screen there, and you go to the second menu option along and you press there to activate it. You turn it on, and again, this is a standard zebra setting that you have with all of the previous models of the camera, where you can adjust the zebra threshold to be, or zebra threshold to be 100%, 95%, 90, 85, 80, 75, and then after that you go back to none, and then you can go back around to 100. But the thing that's different is 12K and the 6K, you have the option to have the skin tone middle gray and the skin tone middle gray +1 indicators on there. Okay, but the other way of setting it is if you go to menu, you can see that it's on there currently. You can actually set it separately for each of your monitoring sources. So you can either have it for the LCD, SDI or USB-C. You can turn it on or off. So for the LCD, you turn it on there. Again, you can go to the SDI and you can also turn that on. But because it's set to clean feed, it wasn't giving you that option. But if you take clean feed off, now you can set it, so you can do that and you can turn it on for the USB-C. You are assigning whether or not you have it active in those different monitoring outputs, but then you've also got to go here to this section where you can then set the highlight zebra level And you can also set whether or not the skin tone zebra is on, off, and when it's on, you can set it to either be mid-gray or mid-gray +1. When you set this parameter here, it affects all of the output sources. Unlike when you go to this section here, and you can actually define separately for each one of these. Okay, so let's have a look at one of the images. So we've got the clean feed on this, so let's take the clean feed off so we can have a look. Okay, so this is without any monitoring at all. If you have a look at the histogram down here, you can see it's showing that it's well exposed in terms of evenly exposed. There's nothing overly exposed as indicated by the traffic lights being off. But if we put it to false color, a lot of the skin is in the green and pink range. Green being the ideal middle gray color and pink being one stop above middle gray. So let's see how that works and how that's indicated with the zebras. So let's turn false color off. Let's go to zebra and turn it off. So let's set that to middle gray, and there it's showing you what is in fact approximately within the middle gray exposure level. You can see there the skin is within the middle gray exposed area. So to verify that and to back that up, we can hit the false color and you can see the green appears. If you look, the green will appear in the same place as where those zebras are. So the zebras again are set to middle gray, and that is indicated by the green region. Okay, so you see the pink region, that is the middle gray +1, and if we set the zebras to middle gray +1 and then we toggle false color off, you can see that it is roughly corresponding to the pink region. So the areas in her forehead and her cheeks, they are falling within the middle gray +1 and they're being indicated there. So it's an approximation and a range that's given to you by the zebras. So thanks for watching, and I hope you found some value from this video. If you did, I'd love it if you could like, subscribe, share in the Facebook groups and threads and all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay lucky, stay blessed.